Hi, I'm Gordy Gundaker. Welcome to the Dirt Parlor Podcast.
Hi, I'm Don Martin. Welcome to the Dirt Parlor. And this thing is big. Welcome to the Dirt Parlor Podcast. I'm Don Martin, and I'm joined by
Gordy Gundaker.
Our show is brought to you by Nutrient Agriculture,
Hoker Trucking,
Bodies by Skinny, an official Longhorn dealer,
We also want to thank Reed Millard with Millard Family Chapels.
and
Checker Custom, screen printing and embroidery.
by the way, Tyler, that's his company.
Yeah.
So anyway, tonight we're joined by one of the best drivers in sprint car racing. I don't care what anybody's, you could put this guy, one of the most consistent drivers in the country, and we're joined by Tyler Courtney, best known as Sunshine. Thanks for coming on the show, bud.
Sun shit. Come on.
Yeah. It depends which friends you meet, if I'm sunshine or some shit. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah.
Well, we had Reitzel on a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, we had a great time with him, and he was a lot of fun. And all I can think about is you. And this past week, let's just dive right into it. Let's dive right into Huset.
Yeah.
And you had a good run. I mean, you ended up taking probably close to how much, 15, 20 grand out of there last week?
Yeah, I think we took 16,000 out of there. So I mean, for being kind of, I don't want to say middle of the road, but like we were top 10 every night except for one. So yeah, to come out of there with 16 grand, I think is a good week. Obviously, it's not the 350 or whatever, however much Buddy took out of there, but it's it's just it's cool to see where the state of sprint car racing is at. I think Saturday night, so we were racing for 250. Skagit was racing for 100,000. They were racing for 26,000 at Atomic, and I think they were racing for 10,000 out in Pennsylvania. So it's just pretty wild to see kind of where wing sprint car racing's gone the last couple of years and where it's headed. I think they announced this weekend that Huset is going to pay 300 on the Saturday night show, and then the Thursday night show is going to pay 150. So it's cool, and hopefully go back there next year, be a little bit better, and try and take some more Todd's money out of there.
That track, to me, it's and I'm curious, do you like the way the program is run, the format? Because those heat races you keep hearing, it's looks like it's for a tight race, it just looks like it's really tough to pass.
It's pretty tough. I think that the format could use some tweaks. I'm not professional at that kind of stuff, so I don't know what tweaks exactly would make it better or worse. It's tough to like Rico went quick time both nights on the prelim nights, and I don't think he made either prelim show. So it's just, something's got to change there. I think you get, penalized for qualifying good. Like maybe even keeping the format the same, but if you're a quick time, you get to be at the front of the B. Like Rico, went quick time, but had to start 15th and 16th in both B mains. So makes it pretty tough to come out of those, but it's also sprint car racing and racing in general. It's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy or given to you. And so yeah, I don't know. And then I think Saturday for like the big shows, I ran second in both my heats and had to you had to go and redraw from 7 to 12. And so I think there they don't really need to do that. I think, if the guy that runs second in the first heat race, I think he deserves to start 7th and so on and so forth. I don't think that Hunter ran second in the first heat on Saturday, but redrew the 12, so he had to start 12. So I think they can just line that back up by points, things like that, and it would speed the show up a little bit too. You don't need to go out there and do a redraw when you've already tallied points for the night before in those heat races. So. But other than that, I think it does create intensity when you're inverting 6 guys in a heat race, and then so it makes it hectic and crazy like the fans want it, and so it's kind of hard to say change one thing or the other, but you just leave it up to them and you show up and everybody's got the same goal. So if they change something next year, cool. If not, we're probably going to be there either way. So.
Mm-hmm.
Does it cross your mind to, which I know we're all so close in speed, right? But does it cross your mind to lay back a little bit during qualifying? I mean, I know it's hard to do that, right? Because it's like you don't get the opportunity to because when you're 2/10, there's not really a time you can be like, oh, I'll just check up a little here, because you don't even know if you let a real ripper down.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is you you can go out and, try to, I guess, sandbag, but you might end up outside the top 18 with how close everybody is, and then you're really screwed. So you're still going out there trying to be quick time, and just hoping you catch a couple breaks in your heat race to get a couple spots, because you really only need to go like 6 to 4, I think, to make it into the redraw for those features, and even if you get the fifth there, you're going to be at the front of the B, and it's not the end of the world, because then you just got to charge through a few guys in the feature to put yourself in a good spot for the next night. So yeah, you can try to. There's different races like with formats similar to that you can try to sandbag, and it works out. But I think when everything's so close, especially at a place like Huset where it's tough to pass in the heat races, you're trying to go for everything every time you're on the racetrack.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm sure it crossed Rico's mind after Wednesday, after dealing with what he had to deal with, right? It's like you look at, how obviously you look at all the B main lineups every night, they're A main is all they were.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it just, we talked about this. We had JD on after the Dream, and one of the things he talked about was like, man, when you go race for big money, it's like you wish they would just line it straight up, just because it's like you want the best car to win. Like, in your opinion, do you wish it was that way when you go to those big races?
Yeah, I think in certain situations, yes. A lot of the big races now, it's tradition to have these, different formats. So, you're not going to break those and things like that. Like, I'm sure there's a couple different things we could probably change the Nationals format to make it a little bit better, but it's been an invert like that since I can remember. So it's definitely not going to change. And you just know those things going into it. But yeah, I think a place like Huset is a place you could probably start straight up and let the best guys have at it. You know what I mean? But it just throws you a little curveball, and you just got to navigate it. And I think the cream normally does rise to the top there. And the thing is, like, go back to Rico, like, he probably thought he did sandbag a little bit, but their car's so good that he was still faster than everybody in qualifying. You know what I mean? And it's just but it's just how hard racing is across the board right now. I think it just, no matter really which way you look at it, it's just freaking hard, man. Like, the 100,000 to win night, I'm racing for fourth with Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson, and gravel was right in front of us, and not one of us made a mistake, and we're still racing each other. Like, it's just, that's how close everything is. Like, you'd pass the guy, but if it just killed a little bit of momentum, like, you didn't make a mistake, you just killed a little momentum sliding a guy, then you're getting passed by two guys, then you get them back when they're racing each other. And it's just it's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating, but at the end of the day, sprint car racing, and I think racing across the board couldn't be in a better place right now.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was all over the board over the weekend, and the Stevie Smith race, they had it seemed like every race had 40 plus cars. Even even the race at what was that, Paragon? Paragon had a good field of cars.
Yeah, and I think they had even more before that than I had at Putnamville, and you got Ohio Speed Week going on, and so that they're drawing cars, and then you start racing in Indiana. They had 40 cars. I think they had 40 cars at Ohio Speed Week, and then we had 60 cars at Huset's, and then I think they had 40 cars up in Pennsylvania. So it's it's cool to see the depth and the amount of race cars we have across the country right now. And then you were not even talking about Skagit. Skagit had 50 cars, so it's pretty cool.
That's great. It's about as healthy as we've seen it.
Yeah. Well, and too, it's like it's not like at each one of those places, there was a lot of really good race cars. Like the Skagit races, you had J Mac and Sanders and Holmes and all those guys. And then you got, obviously, your guys' field was completely loaded. I know that one heat race that I watched. I don't know what that one was.
It was the first one on the first night. And that's the one that buried Rico. Like it, but I don't know what are you gonna do? Like you had outlaw champions in front of him. You had guys that have won huge races, like the first six in that one. And I think even the guy that started behind Rico was a good guy too. So it's just tough.
I think it was Thorson.
Yeah. So like it's just like luck of the draw, really. Like when they get a split field like that, there's usually one side that's quite a bit harder than the other. And That is what I like what we do at High Limit. We kind of seed it, which seeding isn't perfect, but it does help split up the cars a little bit better than just a straight up, split for the draw.
Yeah. I know that we started doing that now on the late model side. They started putting it now where, like at Peebly this past weekend, they take the Outlaws and they split them. They have 16 of them. They split them 8 and 8 into each group, which I think is
I saw
Nationals.
Nationals put out a thing the other day that they did a good job working with all the series to kind of separate everybody evenly on the 2 prelim nights, which is cool. I felt like last year I think there was 16 full-time High Limit guys, and I think 10 of them were on one night. So just it's cool they were able to work with both series this year to kind of help break that up and try and give us the best Knoxville Nationals we can.
Well, that's what everybody wants on Saturday night, is you still have to race your way in and do those things, but you want to give the very best guys the best opportunity at the same time. So it's not all loaded on one night, it's great for a middle of the road guy to try to make it, but it does suck when you go up there and look at your group and you're like, holy shit, how did I land myself in this one?
Yeah.
There's not a worse feeling in the world. So
racing's already hard and we try not to make it harder than we need to be, but sometimes it just is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and speaking of that, right, it's like for you've now seen a plethora of racing, right? Like you've done non-wing sprint cars, you've done midgets, you ran late models for a little bit. You went and ran the Tulsa Shootout this year. Like you've seen all of the competitiveness across the board. And like, I don't know if you can really say one is harder than the other. When you go into each one of these divisions, it's just as hard.
It's all hard. And especially like when you're jumping from, car to car, like, you go race midgets, you still have their 6 or 7 guys that are really freaking good in a midget. You go race a late model, you have your 10 to 15 guys that are really freaking good in a late model. Like, you're not just hopping in and you going to win these races. And I think you see Kyle now, like, he doesn't just hop in and win as much as he used to. He still freaking wins, obviously. Like, he's still a freak. But I think, guys like Kyle has helped step up everybody's program and us as drivers too to make it even more competitive. And that's what it is, man. Like like I went to the shootout last year. I think I made one of the shows, and it's kids that you don't even know of. Like some of them I know from racing back a few years ago at the shootout and stuff like that. But a lot of new faces that come in every year when you're down there, and they're just as good as the next guy. And so that also tells me that the youth of our sport is in good hands too. And we've got good guys coming up to keep us rolling here.
Well, I noticed like this year at the Tulsa Shootout when Emerson, asked him, and he talked about when he interviewed that one time, he's ready to cry almost. Remember that? He was like, I don't even want to come here anymore.
Yeah.
This is just ridiculous,
Yeah.
He just felt like there was so much pressure to win.
The Tulsa Shootout, they say it's a kids event or what have you, but it is probably one of the hardest events that you could go and race all year long. And it's just because each class has 300 cars in it. So you're not just, it's not your Chili Bowl prelim night where you're only going up against 40 guys on your prelim night, right? Or 50 at the most. You're going up against 400 guys in one class. And, and like there was one year, I think I won my heat race. I think I won my qualifier, both from the pole. And I didn't even lock into the feature. Like I had to come through a B. So like, it's just like, that's how close everything is there. Like you have to have everything go right. And it's a fun race. And I'll probably be back again this year. Like I still haven't won one. I think I don't have the record for most starts without a driller anymore. I think KJ Snow passed me on that, but so I don't have to hang my hat on that anymore, but it's just an event I love, and I get to see a lot of people that I don't get to see all the time anymore, from just growing up and racing a lot more than I used to. So get to go back there and see a lot of, childhood friends and friends I grew up racing micros with. So it's just a fun event for me.
Yeah. I saw you got like a little mark there on your finger. I know that wasn't from working on the race car. So would you drop a golf club on it?
No, that was in a front door of a house.
See, he had told you I knew it wasn't from working on something.
No. Yeah. We don't use a lot of hammers to smash our fingers in sprint cars, Gordy.
Did you play some golf at Huset last week?
Yeah. Yep.
See, I
I was on a
told you.
team. Yep. Golf. They
But
had
you
a,
guys,
they had
there
a
were 40-some teams. Where'd you guys finish?
I don't know where we finished. I know the winners were 18 under and we were 13 under. So we weren't too far off. But I had to go park my t-shirt trailer and stuff afterwards. So I didn't stay I knew I didn't win, so I didn't stay for the awards ceremony. But it was good. I chipped in for eagle on the last hole, so I was happy about that.
Oh shit! It keeps you coming back.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And I'm just curious, like, and I know you play a lot of golf away from because Argo tells me that. So, I got to take the crew chief's word, right?
Yeah.
And just curious, like, you play enough. You probably played with Lance. You probably
No, I haven't played with
Kyle.
I want to play with Lance. I play with Kyle. I haven't
heard,
played with Lance. Lance is a
I
scratch
played
golfer.
on opposite of Lance. Lance is good.
Yeah.
I've heard Lance is really good.
Yeah. Then Gordy, you know Dave Reedy.
Spencer's good, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Reedy.
Yeah, Reedy's wins tournaments golfer.
Really?
Like I want to golf with him. I haven't got to golf with him yet, but like he goes and plays tournaments. And
No way.
I think he told me he won one a few weeks ago, and I think Reedy's in his 60s, I think, and the next guy below him was like in his 40s. So like he's playing at a pretty good level.
No kidding. Yeah, I got to know Reedy really well because he always helped Dom, down at the Chili Bowl, and so I've got to be around him a ton. And actually, the one year we were down there, we got to talking about running Stack Springs on the midget stuff because we were doing it on the late models, and I got his wheels spinning. And actually, we left on Saturday. It was that first year that Dom hadn't made the A in like 5 years or 6 years, whatever it was. And Reedy called me from the airport. He said, "Man, I couldn't even sleep last night. He's like, I just was thinking about this stuff, and I got a whole list of the springs we need. Like, can you bring your smasher and we could meet?" I'm like, "Yeah, Reedy, whatever you want to do. I'm down to try it all." He's like, "Oh, this makes so much more sense now."
Yeah, he's a great guy. Like, obviously, we have a great relationship with Garrett at CSI. Like, we run all their stuff, but Dave's always, one of the first guys to come tell us good job and things like that. And we don't even run his product, and he's just a great dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let me ask you this: you made a big lifestyle change, right? You moved to Iowa.
Yep.
You're getting married, right?
Yep.
So what's that whole kind of interchange been like for you? Is it obviously it's a big sweep for you because every one of your friends is in Indiana, all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, and we're not home that much anyways to even really, it doesn't really matter where my address is. But really, all my other friends are growing up too. I mean, Chris has a kid now, so he's busy on that side of things. And like my brother lives in Texas. My dad lives in Florida, but I think he's getting ready to move back to Indy. And so really it's just me and my mom there. And Asia, my fiance, her whole family is here. So it just kind of made a little bit more sense for us to move here. She's got a little niece here, and her brother lives about 10 minutes from us, and her family's 25 minutes from us. So it just made a little bit more sense. And for the piece of property and the house that we found, I couldn't quite find that in Indy that I was looking for. And so it just made a lot of sense. But man, it's been great. It's nice. We just got our first neighbor. They built a house and moved in next to us. So just got a neighbor right next to us, and there's some back on the dead end road here that are super nice people. Actually, my neighbor's name is Dan Dietrich, which is really funny. So so he but they're super nice people. But yeah, it's awesome. We're just out here. We're like 5 miles from Newton, or from Iowa Speedway. So like just far enough out in the country, but close enough to town too, to not have to, drive 30 or 40 minutes to go do something.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. Obviously, all life-changing over the last 5-6 years of the different sweeps we've all been in.
It's it was probably about time for us all to grow up. So I think we all finally did.
Yeah, we needed it. We needed to get out of the vicious cycle we were in. That's for sure.
No.
I love it.
So I think I told Chris the other night, I said, I think we had a good run.
Yeah, we did okay. We did all right. Yeah, that's for sure. The best thing that could have happened to us is we all weren't around each other for a while.
Yeah, no shit. Well, yeah, growing up came with all of us kind of taking our racing a little bit more serious too, and I think it's all worked out for all of us in a great way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you win at Knoxville a few weeks ago, on the weekly show. You get which that night was stacked.
Yeah.
So you get some confidence rolling.
really any night you go to
And-
Knoxville now is stacked because everybody focuses on that for the Nationals. So like any off weekend anybody gets is that they're going to
Yeah.
Knoxville. So it was cool to finally to get my first 410 wing win there. Like obviously I won 360 Nationals and won a couple USAC races there, but hadn't quite won in the big car yet. And so we finally got that out of the way, and hopefully get a couple more here before I'm done racing. I hope.
and then you
There's
guys-
only one that matters though, and it's in August.
Right.
There you
That's
go.
it.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
get to.
Well, and you've been good there though. You started on the front row at the Nationals, and
Yeah,
those
3 years
things.
ago I started on the front row, and then last year we started third, and yeah, we like that the year I started on the front row we led 26 laps I think, and but yeah, we just always seem to have a pretty good package there for Nationals. We just haven't quite put ourselves in the like obviously being on the front row is in a great spot to win, but we just as a team and me as a driver I don't think we were quite ready to win the race that year, and but we keep working towards that to make sure we are fully prepared to go win those races. And yeah, I think Donnie won that year that I started on the front row, and then Kyle's been on a tear since then. So
Does it make it hard at that red flag stop to decide on what to change, what not to change? Like if you're feeling good, like, man, you don't really want to touch it, but then it's like, what are those conversations like with you and Jake? Like, how do you kind of deal with
Yeah.
that, or what do you look at like that?
it's tough. I think it's a lot harder on Jake than it is me. Because at the end of the day, it's his decision. I trust him fully. I trust him with my life. So, whatever he wants to do, I just let him do it. And yeah, I think that year we led the first 25 or 26, and so that there at the break, I felt really good, and I think we probably got caught with our pants down a little bit, not changing enough, and kind of got ate up there on the restart, and it ultimately ended up fourth, which if you're hanging your hat about running fourth at the Nationals, then you probably got bigger problems to worry about than that.
Right.
So, but yeah, the break's hard. I think it's a little easier when you're probably seventh or eighth at the break to kind of go for it or whatever. But yeah, I think leading it is really tough to unless you've been in that position before to go and either make a change or not make a change. Just having the confidence to know what to do. And we've been there before, so hopefully put ourselves in position to be in the first three spots at the break to say we're either going for it or we're just gonna trust what we got.
I'm curious, like when you look at is Knoxville your favorite track? I know it's where everybody makes the biggest investment. Of course,
It's
and
top.
you're there
It's
at the
top
weekly,
three.
but is it your favorite track?
It's my favorite event. I don't know if it's my favorite track.
There you go.
But it's top three of my favorite racetracks. I love all half
Sure.
miles. So like Eldora
Is
and Port
Eldora number
Royal.
one?
Yeah, Eldora is probably still number one. Like we've been a little off there the last couple of years, but just all the success that I've had there and things I've got to do there and things that's done for my career racing Eldora, there's no way I can't really put it as my favorite. I just love racing there. And then yeah, I'd put Port Royal probably. I'll probably put Knoxville second, Port Royal third, and then Kokomo could be higher. We just don't get to race there as much as I used to. Like Kokomo used to be
Right.
top two of my favorite racetracks, but I still don't get to race there as much. So a couple like Port Royal and Knoxville kind of taken over my heart a little bit, but Kokomo's still home, and I love when we get to race there.
Yeah. Well, you cut your teeth there, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
place really that taught you how to race and how
Yep.
to be up on the wheel and all those things. I mean, like you watch Kokomo and like you get the nights where it's four in the fluff. You get the nights where you got to be throwing big slaughters. You got nights where you guys
Yep.
got to like mosey around the infield. Like
Yep.
it's pretty wild to watch, kind of from afar, seeing all that. So we went there with the late models. It wasn't really spectacular for us, but it was like, this is not a late model track. This is a badass open
Yeah.
wheel place.
And
but
that's
it's
the thing
really
is like we run into that like Golden Isle last year is definitely more of a late model track than a sprint car track, and I think our racing probably showed that a little bit. But yeah, it's funny to think that it's just a racetrack. It shouldn't matter if it's a late model or a sprint car, but there's definitely better late model tracks than there are like better tracks for late models than there are take sprint cars there, and it's just not going to race as good. And I feel like one track that probably raced good for both was East Bay. East Bay was really good for both sprint cars and late models, and I wish that place was still around.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a lot of people understand how hard East Bay is, because you go out there and like you'll be in the middle of a feature and all of a sudden you'll go into one and you just flat out can't steer. And you're like,
Yep.
what? Like, what happened? You know, it's like you're looking for brown, but you go down there and it's not good. And like, it's a shame that place will never be back, because it was easily one of the best racetracks in the country.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, and it just added extra. You didn't have to run Volusia for 18 nights. You could go run East Bay and break up that trip a little bit, and that was the nice part about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about running a midget at Eldora. You know,
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It's
exactly.
It's yeah, midgets at Eldora are really fun, especially when your car's good. I mean, that's anywhere, right? Like if your car's good anywhere, you're gonna have fun. But putting a midget this far away from the wall, or sometimes in the wall, to be faster on there is just, it's really fun. I think there towards the end, it got a little bit easier for me to run around there, because I, jump out of the wing cart where you're going 13-second laps and the midget's only going, 18, 19-second laps. So it's quite a bit different. So that made driving the midget a little easier, around there. But it was just, man, there was one race, I think it was 2018 I had with CV and CV and Tanner Carrick, and we traded slide jobs for the lead for all of 15 laps, and it was one of the most fun races I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Talk about what your experience was like getting in the late model, because I know we talked about it back when you did it. And I think it's funny, like you talk about the first time you did it and how you thought you were just going to go in there and flip over, but
yeah,
like that experience for you, obviously just jumping in, you watch Kyle hop in and have success, and obviously you wanted to try. I felt like that for like 5 years there was a big thing of like everybody switching over, doing different things. So I don't know, kind of explain what you felt when you got in.
One of the harder race cars I've ever driven, that's for sure. Yeah, it's just the opposite of everything I've ever learned, really. Especially, or done, not really learned, but done over the last, my whole career. Like jumping in a late model, all the way over on the right front, and just a weird feeling. And then, yeah, no, I tell people all the time, it's way harder than you guys make it look. And so that, like, my respect level for you guys went up, it was already high, but like even higher than before I did it. And my respect level for Kyle got even higher, for him to just be able to jump in and go win those races that he did. And it's hard, and you guys make it look easy. And especially, like, I've ran Eldora in the slick now. Like I did that first night, the flow night was heavy and rough, and I felt like that was probably a little better for me. The slick deal, I didn't really know what to expect, but the way you guys like just go run in there and like float through the middle and like don't get tight and stuff, I don't know how you how you do that, because anytime I try to float through the middle, I just get tight and end up at the wall. I think the C main or whatever I was in, I knocked off the spoiler, like knocked it off a little, kept running the top, and then finally knocked it all the way off, and then you have zero grip. And that was
Yeah.
and that was an experience. But no, I'm really grateful that I got to do it, and I got to do it with Jeremy Bowens, who's an awesome guy and has done a lot in his career. So just to be able to get to say I got to do that with him was awesome. And I'm not saying I won't ever do it again, but just with our schedule and stuff, it's just really hard to get away to go do those things. And I still love watching them. And yeah, I mean, pretty much every Crown Jewel event I'm tuned in watching and cheering one of you fuckers on.
You got a favorite?
Yeah.
You got a favorite late model driver?
No, I don't really have. I mean, I love watching JD. Like, he's just so smooth, man. Like, and so but it's also like, man, at the right racetrack, like Bishop and Bobby, like up on the curb is awesome to watch too. I like watching Gordy at Macon.
Who doesn't, right? That's right.
But no, I mean, I obviously cheer on Hoffman quite a bit. Not only like he's my friend, but he's part of the Noss family now, and
Sure.
so the year he's having's been pretty good too. You go run third at the Dream, and I respect the way he does it too. Like a lot of that's on him. like making the calls and changing everything, and then getting in there and driving it is tough. I mean, you know that, Gordy.
Yeah, that's I think one of the harder things, in our racing is like I feel like almost all the sprint car teams, you guys have a crew chief in a sense.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dirt late model guys for sure that maybe don't have that, or they don't have a, necessarily like they maybe have a guy they bounce ideas off of, and it does make it tougher. I think it's just because we have, I don't want to say more teams, but it just feels like it's, I don't know. It's like not as an aspiring to be role as being a late model crew chief as being a sprint car crew chief is. I don't know why that is. It just seems to be that way. But I also think it's because a lot of us grew up and that's kind of how we were taught, was like, we just work on our stuff and you figure it out on your own. And I mean, obviously we all want a crew chief. It'd be great if we did. That's,
Yeah.
that's
Well, and I feel like even for like you and Nick, like I feel like you both have, what feel you want. And it's kind of hard to explain that to a guy where you can just go and try and get that feel yourself. So like, I do feel like he'd probably benefit from having a crew chief, because I think he knows enough that he can make that crew chief's job a lot easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make Nick's life a lot easier too.
Yeah. Yeah. Do a few less things during the week and have him do everything he does now. That's definitely for sure. Did you by chance get to see Dom bust his ass after the checker the other night in the heat race?
No. Did he race?
He won the heat race at Peevely, and after the checker, they had reworked the track, and he went out and blistered through the middle and went up after the checker and was going to run like the top and went into 3 and bottomed out and busted his ass.
Was that in the midget?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was good. Hey, by the time it landed, he was climbing out and he was flipping it back over himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they towed him off, and me and Hoffman are sitting on the backstretch, and they towed him right by us, and we're just staring in at him, laughing, and he looked up and he's just shaking his head.
What? He doesn't even go to the top though. Why was he even trying it?
I'm telling you, I literally was walking away and I hear, oh no, and I turned around and he's just doing endos. I'm like, what in the hell is he doing? I'm like, he's not even going to go up there in the features. So I was checking it out for.
Did he ever get that modified?
He's got it. He hasn't finished yet. He's been too busy working on his bar.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I guess priorities, right?
Yeah, that's it. Well, he built that bar at the front of his speed shop, and then he actually ended up going in there and taking out more of the speed shop and extending the bar because the bar was doing so good. So,
well, hey, somebody's got to make money around here.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. Sure as hell ain't midget racing. That's for sure.
No, it's damn sure not midget racing.
Yeah. Did that obviously played a big factor into you stepping into the wing stuff? I mean, it had to have.
Yeah, I mean, like I've never raced. Like, yes, I race for a living, but like it's never been a money thing for me. But like if I'm gonna be racing for a living, like I gotta go give myself the best opportunity to make the most money, right? And I saw where wing racing was going, and luckily my team was fully behind going to do that. Being as good as we were in the USAC stuff, it's kind of hard to just jump out and go do something different. But luckily I've got a great core people behind me that believed in me and believed in me and Jake and Ron and Bob now to go out and do this. And luckily we've had success at it. And the cool thing is for me is like, yes, we've had some success, but like, and we're only, I think this is our fifth full-time year doing it. And so like we're just scratching the surface of what these other teams have been able to do and build over the last 5 years before that and 15 years before that on some of them. And so like we still got a lot of upside, and that's what makes me excited.
Yeah, well, it should be. I mean, all-star champions, and then you look at the high limit. You're currently sitting second in the points now. Last year you finished second. I mean, we were talking about it today. We talked about the fact that this guy point races like Rick Eckert.
Yep.
I mean, that's what drove Bloomquist crazy. It's like, dude, I win 20-something races. You win like 3, and you're on my ass for the point. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I took the points lead for one race, and I hadn't. We still haven't won a high limit race, but like we have meetings every week, and we have a big meeting at the beginning of every year, and we just pound consistency into everybody's heads, and it's like you can win these championships without winning a race. Obviously you want to fucking win races, like that's what we do this for, but championships last forever, and If you go out there and, make your average finish a fifth at the end of the year, even without winning a race, you're probably going to win the championship.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure for you, it helps racing Brad every night
Yeah,
because
he
you learn
makes
so
he makes you a
much.
lot he makes you a lot better, that's for sure. And yeah, like I feel like I'm a pretty good points racer, or I felt like I was, and then you go race a guy like Brad who he just doesn't run outside the top five, and it's annoying, like Bloomquist to Eckert. Like it's
Yeah.
like, what the hell do I have to do here? Like, man. And so you just,
Seven championships in a row. I mean,
yeah,
that's
like
nuts.
it's
That's
just
nuts
like
itself, just to be healthy. Just to be
yeah,
healthy.
yeah, or just like really have nothing ever go wrong in that long, like, because that, like, yeah, you have to be consistent, but you got to have, like, you can have like one DNF maybe. And I think in the last 6 or 7 years, I think he's maybe had three maybe across all series, like, and a couple of them I don't even think were actually like full points races.
Well, and then of course he has one last week, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
Like the outlaw deal, like he won that Beaver Dam a couple weeks ago, but like the outlaw deal, I feel like I'm like, Brad, why don't, like, when you show up to Highlander races, why don't you just show up like you're going to the outlaw race, so like we can gain some points on you? But he just laughed.
yeah,
And
yeah,
but no, it's you want to beat Brad at full strength, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I definitely, like, I feel like we have the opportunity to beat him this year. We just got to keep minding our P's and Q's and doing what we need to do, and making every night count. And that's the important thing. And it's not going to be easy. And Brad's, yeah, one of the best sprint car drivers we'll ever see in our lifetime, especially when it comes to winning championships. And so yeah, if we can, hopefully beat him here before he decides to call it quits, or if he ever does, that'd be a huge accomplishment. When you go beat a guy like that, like he got to beat Donnie, right? Like it's you get to beat champions like that. It's a cool thing to have in your cap.
yeah. Well, and talk about too, what your partner with Lauren and Nos, obviously your car owners, but what that, obviously you've been with Nos for a long time, and
Yeah.
they've brought obviously you a lot of success over the years, but like, talk about having a big sponsor like that truly really almost kind of gives you exactly what you need to go compete, how big that is for a team, and just that, just to have that confidence going in, like, hey, if we need something, we know we can go get it every year. That's going to keep coming back.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, what Lauren's done for, not even only us as a team, but for grassroots racing, across the board, has been nothing short of amazing. And yeah, without her, man, we'd be trying to scrounge up a lot of sponsors to make this all possible. And like without a great partnership that we have with them, we'd be in a different spot probably. And I firmly believe that, my brand and just my side of it, like, without having Nos, I think my whole thing would be different. And they've helped grow my brand, and I feel like we've helped grow theirs. And it's just been a great partnership. And Lauren's an amazing person. Everyone at the Monster Energy team and family, that trickle, like, Nos is a part of that family. So like everyone there is just it's a great company. And we're just honored enough to be able to get to represent them night in and night out. And we try to do it with the best way we can, and try to bring them home wins and championships. They love that. They love winners. And they've got a great we've got a great family as drivers too. Like we've got just badass, like, dude, the Anderson brothers that do the off-road stuff, they're freaking badasses at doing that. Obviously our sprint car family, like, across the board, from Sheldon to Chris to Justin to Bernal and Colby. And then you got Hoffman on the late model stuff, and Chris Forsberg is probably one of the best drifters of all time. And then you got Ricky.
Yep.
Like, Ricky's the dad of him and Forsberg are the dad of the group. And they're just awesome guys to have in your corner when you need them, and things like that too.
You got a favorite story, like when you're on the set with these guys, like when you guys are doing the commercials? You got a good story for us?
I mean, just just normal shenanigans. Like we can never take anything too serious, right? And especially when you're there all day, sometimes 2 days. So you got to try and make some fun out of some of the stuff, because some of it gets a little, like, it's a production. So like it's all right, we're going to do this 4 different times. And so it's a, little, tedious sometimes, but the product it turns out is amazing. But we have a lot of fun at the shoots. Like this last time we screwed around on a golf cart for an hour probably when we probably didn't need to, but the camera guys and the photographers had a lot of fun with it. So it makes it fun. But yeah, I don't know. We get to doing a lot of cool stuff. I'd say that the shoot we did with all the slug bugs around Irwindale was a lot of fun. Sheldon and them tore up a car, but that's part of it. It made for good content.
That was the best one. Hoffman called me after that deal, and he was like, Sheldon just went up here finally and just pancaked it in the fence and just run it right into it. I'm like, that sounds about right.
Dude, and that's in the back seat of those bugs, they'd like taken the seats out so we could have like 5-point harnesses in the back. So it's just like all metal back there. And those poor guys in the back absolutely KO'd like their shoulder and knees and stuff. But no, it was good. Like we just have a lot of fun. It's just a bunch of like adrenaline junkies that get to go make some cool video stuff for 2 days, and it's cool.
Yeah, would have been all right if we could have had like one of those production crews in the old barn at Ricky's.
Yeah,
One night.
I'm telling you, some of that stuff would probably make the cut for sure.
We were at Stenhouse's. I think he was in Phoenix still.
Yeah, he wasn't even there.
Yeah, and it was like me, Sonny, Hoffman, Sheldon, all his buddies,
Drew,
Ripper
yeah.
and Drew, and Kyle Hammer's with us. And Ricky had this badass side by side that we'd always get on. And Sonny and Hammer jump in this thing, and Sonny's whipping it around here and goes hauling off into this corner. And just, it probably didn't help that Hammer was like 250 pounds on the right side.
On the wrong side.
His thing just landed on end, and I come running over there and just snapped a picture of it and sent it to Ricky while he's flying on the plane. He was like, don't destroy everything before I get back there. Like, just wait.
Yeah, he at least wants to help destroy it.
Yeah. Drew's live on Facebook as Sheldon's just bombing this little pit bike around here. I'm like, we probably need to go ahead and take this down before we get
built a curb on the like at the edge of the trailer, the hitch. I'm like, all right, we gotta at least put a piece of plywood or something there so somebody doesn't KO themselves.
Oh man, Ripper was driving that rental, just jumping it up the pit bike track. Oh God, we had so much fun. And I think that's what's so cool too about probably like, as racing, like, I mean, I'm sure now at the high limit stuff, you guys are traveling, but like the cool things you get to do with the guys you race with and your teams and those things, like, I think that's probably what's more enjoyable at the end of the day, about what we do is like you become this big road family when you're out with these guys, and, you all have each other's backs, and you're also still all degenerates and want to just have fun and do stupid things. And you get to do those while you're out on the road or at guys' houses or shops and all that stuff. And it's so much fun.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. Like I wouldn't trade doing this for anything. And I've been lucky enough. I've got to do it since I was 7 years old, and it's been the same since I was 7. You meet people each year that you race, and it's all over the country. So each part of the country you go to now, there's always somebody or a place you can have to stay or work at. And it's just a lot of fun, man. Like I get to drive race cars for a living. Like everybody's like, how's your day going? I was like, man, it's great. Like I get to drive race cars for a living. Like it's just like, yeah, there's bad nights and times you're like, man, why the hell am I doing this? But then you sit back and remember like, all right, like my life's not that bad. Like I get to drive a sprint car for a living night in and night out. Yeah. So there's a way worse things it could be doing.
Yeah. We got to talk about your owners, naturally with Jennifer and Richard and Tim. I mean, what you get the business side of it from Richard, you got the biggest probably cheerleader in the world in Jennifer, and then you get Tim Clausen with the experience. It's just a great foundation.
Yeah, I've got 4 of the best owners you could have, because Tim and Di, yeah, Tim's just, all the knowledge and experience he has from racing his whole life, and then racing and winning everything under the sun with Brian is amazing. And then Di and Jennifer are the huge cheerleaders, but they also push you. Like they're not scared to like, hey, well, let's pull our head of our ass here and do something. And then Richard is, yeah, he's one of the smartest guys I've ever met when it comes to the business side of anything or really life. Like he's been through a lot. Like, I mean, he's a self-made man, and
Mhm.
he so like really any questions you ever have about life, he's usually got an answer for it, or he'll find one for you. So it's just awesome. I've got a great core group of people, um and I know it's cliche, but it's a family. Like we're one big family, and my boys Jake, Ron, and Bobby, they're
That's
they're
good stuff.
they're they're just as involved in all of that as everybody else, and then you add their families in too. So like all their families become part of ours, and it's just awesome. And yeah, I couldn't imagine doing what I'm doing anywhere else really.
Well, I think it's deserving. First of all, I heard the story. Tim Clausen told me the story when you first showed up at the shop, and and I don't know if Gordy knows the story or
I
not,
don't know
but
if I do.
when you ran the midget at Brownstown, the first event,
Kokomo.
and yep, and they didn't think they'd see you again. You showed up the next day
Yeah.
ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Tim said
Showed
that.
up and
He's like, man, he goes,
flipped in hot laps and
yep,
destroyed the thing. Didn't even get to run the rest of the night.
yeah,
And yeah, but no, I showed up and helped tear it down and worked the rest of the year for them. And yeah, they gave me another chance at DeCoin. I think we
yep.
ran like fourth or fifth at DeCoin, and then we went to Chili Bowl and um, ran like ninth in my prelim night and ran, I don't know, like dead last in the B main on Saturday, but it was enough to get me rookie of the year.
I,
And yeah,
yeah,
rest is history from there, man. Really.
yeah, it really is. I mean, I think about that. I mean, you go back to the shop. I just remember that Tim telling me the story and says, when you showed up, he said he told Richard, he goes, we found our driver.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I
And
was yeah, it was
that's
cool. I got
pretty
to do a lot of cool stuff. Like the couple summers I worked with them. That's really when I figured out that I wanted to be a race car driver, like full time. Like I always pictured race car drivers having to be in NASCAR or IndyCar or anything like that. But then like went and spent 2 summers with Brian and them going up and down the road and like realized
right.
like, oh, like you can make a living doing this too. Like you don't have to be on TV on Sunday to do this. And really just kind of changed my whole mindset and attack on, being a professional race car driver, and just kind of, change courses a little bit, and, worked really hard you know, to do everything to where I'm at now. And luckily it all paid off.
Yeah. Well, and I think obviously it's like you have to have those moments, right? Like those stepping on your dick moments where it's like, all right, it's either sink or swim. Like
Yeah.
I'm either going to go back at this head on, or I'm just going to go crawl in a hole and call it good and just, sit by myself. And honestly, those are the moments where you become to where you're at today, right? It's like
Yeah.
you got to have those bumps and bruises along the road to ultimately end up at your stance right now is like racing for a championship, like
Yeah.
without all those bad things that have ever happened to you, to never learned how to not put yourself in those situations, and,
Yeah.
how to bounce back the next night or whatever it is. And obviously it helps. You've got a long standing with your crew chief, you get all those things, and obviously that helps, but you don't build those relationships or your team up without, doing those things. And, it's cool to see because, there for a while, it's like, okay, like, are you just going to run USAC forever, right? Is that what you're
Yeah.
going to do? Like, you're going to race non-wings? Like, you and Chris are going to throw sliders at each other for the
Yeah.
next
No,
15
and there
years?
for a minute, I was pretty content doing that. And then like we did the Knoxville Nationals with Bernie and stuff, and like that went well, and that kind of like opened my owner's eyes a little bit, like, okay, like he can go do this if we get behind him. And yeah, we just kind of jumped in full head of steam, and we haven't looked back. And it's, yeah, been probably one of the best moves we made as a team up to this point.
Yeah. Well, and then that's not talking. It's not like it's a small moment, right? You win the King's Royal.
Yeah.
And that obviously is a huge jump, because you're just barely into wing racing at that
I
point.
hadn't
You
even
get to
ran.
enjoy it
That
that
was my
night,
first.
though.
That was my first Kings Royal.
Yeah.
I hadn't even never been to watch the Kings Royal, and so like it's just crazy. Like that first year we ran, man, like it was just magical. Like we couldn't do anything wrong, and like yeah, we won like 8 or 9 all-star races, won the championship by like 150 points, and won King's Royal, and just did a lot of cool stuff. And like, it just really sets the bar really high for you to let yourself down the next year. And but then you find ways to like we won like 9 or 10 races the next year in the championship again. And but really every time you roll into Eldora, if you don't roll out of there with a win, it's pretty much a letdown now.
Yeah. Yeah. You really put yourself up on a
Yeah.
big stature there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Dom made a good point. It's like you didn't even get to really enjoy the win the way you
No,
should have.
like, yeah, no,
day
that
race.
was a tough part. Like I remember you called me that day, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I talked to you on
Yeah.
the phone, and it was weird. So it was 175,000 to win, and I remember the first time I looked at my phone, I had 175 text messages. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And so
Yeah.
like I started responding to some of those, and then but then it's like 4 hours later, not even 4 hours, I don't think, that we're getting in the car for hot laps for the next night. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of crazy and surreal, really. And then we're on the front row of the next one, and you're like, holy shit, like are we gonna win 2 of these things in one day?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously that didn't happen, but we still ran fourth in that one, and I think led 19 laps of it or whatever. And in that second one, I got to start next to Jack in his last King's Royal. So like he was in the Pennzoil car, and I'm starting on the front row with him. Like, dude, there's nothing cooler than that. Like, you're next to Jack Hodenshield in the
That's awesome.
Pennzoil 22 at Eldora for the front row of the
Right.
King's Royal.
That's right.
Like,
Absolutely.
it's just awesome.
Honestly, I remember that day because I didn't even watch the race. We were actually at one of my best friend's bachelor parties in like nowhere, Missouri. And
Yeah.
we're out just playing yard games. And I didn't even know one of these guys was a race fan. And he was like, "Oh, Gordy, you're big into racing, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, you watch sprint cars?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Tyler Courtney won the first King's Royal." And I was like, "Sunshine?" And he was like, "Yeah, seriously." I was like, "No, he fucking didn't." And he's like, "No, look right here." And I was like, "Holy shit." And so like, I literally just picked the phone up and called him.
Yep.
And he's like, "What up, dude?" I'm like, "Dude, you fucking won." I'm like, "What in the hell?" Like it was so cool. And then you're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I got to go. I got hot laps." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, you got to race
Yeah, we
again."
didn't even,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, and then like obviously like then that night, like Kyle won, and so we're all camped out there together. So we stayed up and drank a little bit and had some fun. But I think like he had to go. I think he had a cup race the next day or something like that, and we're all just completely just worn out because it was just a long day. So it wasn't too crazy, but man, and I mean, yeah, we didn't get to celebrate the right way, but there's still nothing that beats winning that. I mean, I think there's one race that probably beats winning it, and I haven't got to win it yet. So
well, it's got to be cool though to walk into your. I don't know if is it in your house or is it the shop? Where's it at?
it's
where's the crowd?
so we've got at the shop, we've got a trophy and the crown and the checks out in the shop, and then we got the team and I got crowns and trophies for the crew guys too. So everybody's got one. Like mine's down in the basement. Like I've still got to set up all my basement with all my racing stuff. I haven't quite got around to doing that stuff yet, but yeah, I'll have like a whole Kings Royal section and then like a Knoxville section and stuff like that. So it's cool. Yeah, you walk down there and see the crown and $175,000 check. It's surreal every time.
Talk about the atmosphere a little bit at Eldora for a driver. I mean, you got to look around them and you see that crowd almost going all the way around that place, all the way to the top. I mean, I'm just curious, what kind of does it get you pumped up like it gets us fans?
Oh yeah, like especially you're rolling around there and start blowing the flames up everywhere, and you can feel the thud when they do the big gas bomb or whatever they do. Like it's just and man, some nights it gets loud enough you can hear them like when we're just pacing around there over the cars. So it gets you going. If it doesn't get you going, you probably need to go find something else to do.
Yeah. Well, and there's nothing like that too. Like I think, like at the Dome, I feel like we experienced that big time, but like those outdoor events with all those people are there, like, well, drivers say like, "Oh yeah, you can hear them." It's like, I don't know if it's, like you can truly hear them, but it's almost like you just know they're, you hear that
or it's more
roar.
like you're just feeling them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I know the Dome you definitely can because it's inside, so you can hear them there. Yeah, outside is probably a little more placebo effect, but whatever. I mean, it gets me going, so it's cool to think about. I know
Yeah.
when I won, like I pushed across the scales and then like I rolled out of turn 4 to come on the front stretch, and as soon as I made the turn onto the track again, the whole place went crazy, and that's like the only time I've ever like cried like winning a race, which I feel is natural. Like it was just like everything you work for in your entire life is for a moment like that. And it was just it was awesome because I knew half those people didn't know who I was. Half of them are probably non-wing fans that knew who I was, but the other half didn't. So it's kind of my introduction to the whole sprint car world at that point.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, right? Like like you just said, it's a culmination of everything you've worked your entire life for to reach the pinnacle of the sport you're in. Like
Yeah.
that. I mean, obviously it has to be emotional, right? It's like,
Oh,
why
it
would
was
you do it if you're
yeah, it was
not?
crazy. Like I didn't think I was gonna cry, but I couldn't hold it back. And then like it kind of goes away with like you get out of the car and they're still cheering. You get up on top of your car and you're just fucking just soaking it all in. Like it's just so cool, man. Like
Yeah.
yeah, just wild.
Yeah. Couldn't even get up there and drink a beer either. It makes it way worse. Couldn't even.
No, I couldn't because I got a race
later.
later. I had a nos
They'd have
though.
shit if you'd have got up there and just slammed one anyways.
Yeah, no shit.
I love it.
How did you get the name Sunshine? How did this
Brian,
kind of,
yeah, Brian Clausen gave it to me. So I used to have the long blonde hair. Have
right?
you've seen Remember the Titans, right? The
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
Sunshine, the quarterback with the long
Right.
hair and stuff like that. When I started working for Brian, when I had the long hair and stuff, he called me Sunshine, and then the rest of the crew, called me Sunshine. And then the whole pit area like started calling me Sunshine, and then I go to Chili Bowl that year, and they put it on my name visor, and it's stuck from there. Dude, there's people now that don't even know that my name's Tyler Courtney. They just know that they have no. It's hilarious. Like, dude, if there's not Sunshine somewhere on my shirt, they won't buy it.
Right. Yep. They don't.
So,
Yeah. They don't like the hell with that. We don't care.
they're like, who's Tyler Courtney? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's me. That's
Yeah.
my name.
Right. Well, that's
But
what's
no,
fun. Like it's like your T-shirt trailer. Like it's got Sunshine real big, and then it's got Tyler Courtney, like
Yep.
kind of small. Yeah, it's
No,
like
that's
okay.
because they're looking for Sunshine. They ain't looking for Tyler Courtney.
It's you need to do like a Remember the Titan shirt or something cool like that, and just put you in like a football jersey. That sounds like a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, we could do
Sheldon's
that.
really good about coming up with those different programs, how to incorporate music a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
into it,
Yeah, I think
probably give you
Gordy. I
some
think Gordy
tips.
made a shirt. Did you make it on a shirt last year or something? Or
Which
no, you
one?
guys had the same idea.
Yeah, we had the exact
yeah.
same. Well, I did in 23.
Yeah.
We did the GTA stuff.
Yes,
and I did it.
That's
first.
what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
I did a GTA car for the Cedar Lake Nationals, for the
Yeah.
USA Nationals. And we posted that we were doing it, or I'm sorry, it was for the PDC. And we
Yeah.
posted we were doing it, and Sheldon texted me and was like, "You got to be shitting me," and then sent me the thing that they were doing it for Knoxville as well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, that's so. I said, I'm glad I did it first. It looks like you ripped me off now. I was
Yeah.
like, that makes
And
it feel way
dude,
better.
that's the hard part too, is like there's only so many ideas that we can go around, right? So like eventually somebody's ripping somebody off somewhere. But
Yeah.
it's tough. But yeah, it's yeah, it's just fun.
Well, and merchandise stuff, right? You know this as much as anybody, how crazy that has become on how much
It's-
you can really sell and what you live off of it probably.
Yeah,
I mean, I would imagine.
It's definitely supplemental income to the racing. Like it's what, get you through the winter time doing online stuff. And because obviously we're not racing in the winter to make as much money as you should. And so yeah, it's huge, and the fans are amazing about it. And I know we all keep slowly increasing our prices because we have to, just with everything else in the world. And fans have been awesome about it. And it's just crazy. And yeah, it's a whole nother way of income that truly gets us up and down the road. And throughout the winter time, it gets us groceries and things like that. So, and I know a lot of fans realize that, and we appreciate it a lot.
Well, I think too, I mean, I'm sure it's still cool to go out there and you look in the grandstands and see people that are buying your merchandise and wearing that. Like, that's just like such a cool feeling. It's like, man, these people want to wear my stuff. Like they're fans of ours, different things like that.
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't know. I feel like I was just the kid buying everybody's shirts a few years ago, right? And now I'm luckily the guy that some people buy, not everybody, but some people buys our stuff.
Hey, we did have a cool moment though at Tri-City for the high limit race. Me, him, and Dom were standing in a circle, and this guy walks up and says, "Hey, you take a photo?" And Sonny's like, "Yeah, I'll take one." And the guy's like, "All right." And he
Hands
puts
me
it
the
on his
phone.
camera, and he hands him the phone, walks over and takes a picture with me, made Sonny take the photo.
Dude, it was great. That was
That just
awesome.
happened.
Oh, it was fucking hilarious.
Dude, it
Dom
was
was
great.
standing there, and
Dom
I'm
was
like,
like 3 seconds short of getting a video of it too.
oh man, it would have been great. It was so funny. I was just like, we're at a sprint car race. It helped because we were at Tri-City, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but either
But
way,
it was still so funny. Like he was like full on ready just to stand there with I'm like, oh, I was like, I'll take it for you, whatever. And then he's like hands him the phone, like, oh, you're
Yep.
cool. He comes over and
Yep.
puts his arm around me.
that was great. I loved it.
Shit, man, it's funny. Yeah. So what you got? I mean, you got a lot of good stuff coming up though.
Yeah.
Here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so we got 3 nights at Lucas Oil this weekend, which is one of the coolest racetracks out there. Nicest facilities, probably by far. So we
Wonderful.
got three nights there. That's all high limit. Then we actually have July 4th weekend off, so we don't race again until that following weekend. We have 2 nights at Florence, which I've never been there. I know that's a late model
Listen, you're
track,
in
but
for a treat there. You're in
Yeah.
for a treat there. That
So-
place is the racetrack, if it's right.
Yeah.
You
You
guys-
guys will be banging the boards for sure.
yeah. So
I'm
I'm
excited about that one.
Yeah, excited about that one. There's 2 nights there. Then, dude, so we run Friday, Saturday there. We have Sunday off. We run Monday at Fremont,
Fremont. Yep.
Tuesday at Attica, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Eldora.
God, it's crazy.
I thought you might take Attica off, but you're not.
Nah,
You're
I mean,
not.
we're already in Fremont. It's only 30 minutes from Attica. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if something
Yeah.
happens at Fremont, we probably will just to make sure we're all ready for Eldora.
Right.
But man, it's only 30 minutes down the road, and I think it pays 15 grand. So 15 or 20
Right.
grand. And it's a Brad Doty. It's a cool race. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, our plan is to go there for Tuesday. It would be.
Yeah.
I think that it's neat that high limit is going to some places like Florence, Lucas Oil Speedway.
Yeah.
It's
we're-
pretty neat to see those races on the schedule,
Yeah, and
And-
Saturday at Lucas Oil this weekend's 25 grand to win. So I think the plan between Lucas Oil and
Gordy loves Wheatland, by the way, Tyler. He
Yeah.
loves it.
I did.
I love Wheatland. But I think our plan is to try and make one of our bigger races, keep building this Lucas Oil weekend into something big to make it one of our crown jewels, hopefully on the high limit side of things. And I know they're working hard at it. Like we got it's 10, 10, 25 this weekend, and I think we got another 10 or 15 to win later in the year before we go down to Texas.
Yeah. I hope at some point they do a cross where high limit and Lucas, the late model series where we get us all together on a weekend in the summertime,
Yeah. I
if
know
it
we were
wasn't-
supposed to Atomic last year, I think.
Yep.
And then, but yeah, I think the best. I don't know if Wheatland would be the best place for it, because I think we just like two different racetracks as that. You know what I mean? I think you go to Atomic, it's going to be the same for everybody, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
But man, there's got to be something. Why don't we just make it at Falls? Like, I think it would be
Dude,
sick.
I'm game for that.
I try to get Rigsby on board all the time. He's like, there's no sprint car fans. Well, just put Lucas Oil with us and you have fans. So
yeah, you don't have to worry about sprint car
Yeah.
fans. You have plenty of late model fans.
'cause I just, we just I think, dude, Falls is a great sprint car and late model track. So
Yeah. We'll have to lobby.
Well, you know what? We're gonna have Matt on the show here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Gord, you
Yeah.
might have to work on
I'll
it a
just-
little bit.
I'll just-
he's gonna have a little more pull with Rigsby than we will.
Yeah, no doubt. I guarantee it. Well, and we go there for the PDC in a month. So I'll be working on Rigsby on that for sure.
Yeah, I think even if it's just a 1 day deal, just a 1 day Lucas Oil and high limit, like I think it'd be good.
Yeah. Well, it'd just be cool. I think it would be so cool too to have obviously all that talent in the pit area, but it'd be cool for us because we don't ever get to do that. Charlotte is really the only time
Yeah.
that's there. And I'll be honest, I ain't going to race Charlotte. I'm not.
Yeah,
going
but you'll be there.
I like to go. I'll come hang out. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Like I love going because, all you guys are there, but like, I'm not driving my shit 13 hours to go race around Charlotte and dyno it.
Yeah, honestly, I wish if they're gonna do it, it'd be sick if it was 2 days. So we at least had one night for everybody to hang out too.
Yeah. We
You know what
might
I
not be
mean?
able to race Saturday, but yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be way more crashes on Saturday, but it'll be fine. The fans will be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. I wish they would do more of that. I mean, I know it's hard to take the risk for a promoter, but it's like
Yeah.
they could absolutely figure out a way to do. I mean, God,
Yeah, I think
extreme
especially
moments
especially
like
with
that.
Flo as heavily as involved as Flo is in both series. Like I think we could definitely find a way to make it work. But yeah, it's got to make sense for everybody for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, man, we appreciate you.
I got a couple more.
You got a couple more?
I wanted to talk to him a little bit
Oh,
about the
shit.
high limit on the top, and you guys, the points on the high limit side. We got to talk about it. It's
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
How close everybody is.
Yeah, it just, when
Well,
you
it's
look
'cause
at
every
David
time
on the
Brad
other
has a-
side, it's,
every-
David's
every time
already,
Brad has a
he
bad-
knows it's
Yeah,
over.
every time Brad has a bad night, so does everybody else. So it's
Yeah.
hard to just get over that hump.
Yeah.
Like it's just but yeah, it's awesome. I think what is it? 5 of us are within 38 points or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's yeah, it's crazy. And then we got I think over half our schedule left. So a lot of stuff can happen. But yeah, you just take it night by night and make the most of it. Locust Oil is one of our better racetracks, so just going to try and make the most of this weekend and see what we can do before a week and a half off.
And I'm gonna ask you a couple of little quick questions before we get off for our fans a little bit. When Tyler Courtney's not in the race car, what does Tyler Courtney like doing the most?
Man, either relaxing at my house or golfing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly
I could
golfing.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say I could have answered that one.
yeah, I like golf, man.
And the other thing is like your number, I know you got to run the 7 BC. I get that. But
Yeah.
23 comes up once in a while. Is
Yeah,
that
it's
kind of
my
favorite number?
birthday. It's my birthday,
Oh.
April 23rd.
There we go.
So my parents, the first 2 quarter midgets they got us, they were underneath the Christmas tree and they wrapped like my dad and my uncle's cars, and they didn't know what to do for numbers and they couldn't really ask us without kind of giving away the surprise for Christmas. And so they just did my brother's birthday's the 22nd and mine's the 23rd. So he's always been 22 and I've always been 23.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There we go.
And now we got a favorite food.
Mexican. It's really hard to beat Mexican food, man. It's good across the board, no matter what part of the country you're in.
Yeah.
And now you got a favorite rock band or a favorite group.
Man, I don't
Like,
really
who
have.
What do you listen? What's on your playlist right now?
And it's been all Morgan Wallen lately.
Dude, it has to be, right?
He's got 40 songs on this CD, so it's like I don't even think I've listened to all of them yet.
Dude, I'm telling
And
you,
they're
I
just
think I
all
listened to
good.
it 6 times over when it came out. I mean,
Yeah.
I still listen to it.
Yeah.
Literally last night we were on the way home, Savannah and I and Eloise, and I was like, "Hey, just go ahead and just turn the Morgan Wallen album on." And she was like, "What
Yeah.
song?" I was like, "I truly don't care. It just doesn't matter."
You got one you
that's
like the best?
we get in the truck and we just press shuffle on the album, and that gets you, dude, like 4 hours down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, you just keep on cruising before the album's over.
Yeah, so I'd say him, but like I don't really necessarily have a favorite because I listen to all genres. So like
Good.
really whatever you're feeling at that time is what I turn on. So
I think that's like any racer though too. It's like if you hit shuffle on any race car driver's phone, like
you don't know what you're gonna get. It's gonna go
Yeah,
from
literally.
Ludacris to George Strait.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Brian Shirley loves Titanium by Sia.
Really? That's good.
So,
yeah.
but no, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on with this. Thanks, man. We
Yeah.
really
No,
appreciate it.
I appreciate it, guys, and yeah, I guess will you be at Eldora, Gordy? Or you both of you
No,
I will.
We'll actually be. We race at Wheatland
that weekend?
with
right.
Lucas the
Okay.
week of Eldora. So we
All
won't be
right.
there, but I'll
You-
be at Knoxville.
You got him all week
Okay.
in Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No.
We're talking about even coming up and doing Oski and all that. So like we might come up like Sunday to Saturday or Sunday to Sunday or something like that.
If you're coming up Sunday, you might as well come for Saturday night of 360 Nationals too.
I know, but
I know.
that's just one more added day. I got to be all right by the time I get to Saturday in Knoxville. Like,
Oh,
I'm
you
already
get.
gonna be
I mean,
hurting.
dude, like Monday and Tuesday are basically off days.
Yeah, what? Not really. Not for me. Those are that's my off week, so I don't treat it as like, oh, I'll take it easy.
Well, that's your own choice. But
That's
no,
fair.
I appreciate it, guys, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you around.
Yeah.
Yep,
Awesome.
you got it, man.
Thank you.
Thanks. I want to thank Tyler Courtney, Mr. Sunshine, for coming on to the Dirt Parlor Podcast this evening. The people at home, I think you're really going to enjoy this. We actually get to see a different side of the racer outside the roll cage. And everybody enjoy the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure you go onto YouTube and like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook as well.